My favorite Blue Lou story, of course, that has to do with the 1 o'clock is the LBJ story. So,
Oh, yeah,
please.
well, I think it was the second time we were invited to the White House,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
and, Lady Bird Johnson, took us on a personal tour of the White House, and she was lovely, and the band with Ed Sof and my old buddy Joe Randazzo and, Mike
Man,
Keithman, and great bunch of cats, and, we ended up having tea in the Lincoln Room, and, suddenly LBJ unannounced, uh, came in. And he was impressive, and he was charismatic.
big guy, right?
Yeah, and I remember the suit he was wearing. He was wearing a blue pinstripe suit with a vest, and,
Woo!
uh, and he gave us a really passionate address about the Great Society and the legislation that they had passed and the things that he was after, and at the end of it, he asked us if there were any questions, and there were a group, in addition to our band, there was like 5 kids who had won the GE College Bowl for like a month or 6 weeks in succession, that quiz show that used to be on with colleges
Yeah,
competing, and they were from,
yeah.
University of Texas in Austin,
Oh,
and so they started asking questions, which I thought were sort of brown-nosing, and, I found my hand up, and
much
LBJ's
to the chagrin of Leon Breeden,
yeah,
I'm sure.
probably. But, he said, "Well, I don't have any I have to get back to the governor's conference, so I'm gonna have to leave," but I was directly between him and the door when he said that, and I still had my hand up, and he said, "Okay, well, one more question," and I said, "Well, I don't have a question, Mr. President, but I have a Texas Aggie story you might be interested in." And he said, "What's that?" And Texas Aggie stories, for those who don't know, are like Polish jokes, in the rest of the country, the Polak or
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
Politically incorrect at this point, I guess, in every zone. But at any rate, I said,
Real pixelated.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, he said, "What's that?" And now this is 1968. The Vietnam War, LSD, marijuana, hippies, the whole 9 yards. And I said, one of the Aggie professors asked one of the Aggies what he thought of LSD. And I remember when I said it, you could just feel this intake of breath, apprehension. And LBJ said, and I said, the Aggie replied, "I think he's the best president we ever had." And there was a split second where I thought, "Oh, this is a horrible death," and then LBJ caved, man. He loved it. He grabbed
Man,
me around the shoulders, gave me a bone crusher handshake. "Goddamn boy," like one of those. And he immediately went down and told it at the governor's conference and
there
substituted
you go.
Republicans for Aggies. Yeah, I told the
Uh,
president a president joke.
right. That's one of my all-time favorite stories, man. That's the greatest president ever. LSD. Oh, man.